Hey everyone, it's Julie Young for Korean American Story and Not Your Average. Today I am sitting down with the co-founders of Covry, which is a sunglasses and regular glasses company that is going to change your life. Athina, Wang, and Florence, Shin, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Excited to have you. And thank you to Ellie Lee, our mutual friend who connected us. Shout out to Ellie, who just went out to LA. Miss you, girl. Okay, so how and when did the idea for Covry come up?
I think Athena had just came back from a trip from Shanghai.
Yeah. I think it was like summer, right?
Yeah.
Summertime. And I was like shopping with my grandma, and we were just like walking around the city, and you know all those like little stores that sell all those like $1 sunglasses. So I was just like trying them on, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Just the idea came to me that this could fit so much better. And then I came back and we were sitting there and talking about it, and I was like, hey, I like always had issues with sunglasses not fitting me, and I think we could make it fit better. And she's like, oh my God, I also like feel that way. Because I think I was just like complaining to you about it, and you're like, oh, that's also been a problem of mine too. And I was like, oh wow, we should see if it's just us or if like other people have this issue. And then she thought it was a good idea, and we kind of just started brainstorming from there, and
we would like meet up after work, and then it kind of snowballed from there.
But that was the first time you thought about opening a business together? It wasn't like before you were like, we're gonna have a business together?
No, never.
That's amazing.
But even then, I don't really think we thought of it as a business. We were
it was just like, this is a great idea. How? Yeah. Like, what can we do?
Yeah. So then you start meeting up after work. And what was that? What happened? What came from that?
It was a really slow process. First, we had to figure out how to even make samples, how to make it fit well. So then we just did so much research, and then even the smallest things of like how to get an LLC and how to get a bank account. Banking card. Because we both had never done anything like this before. We always worked, you know, out of other companies.
So how soon after you started meeting up, you know, like after work, did you decide, let's really do this, let's make this a business?
Well, in our meetings, we came up with the idea of, okay, let's try to launch this on Kickstarter. Because one, we needed money, and two, we needed to test to see if like this was something beyond ourselves and our friends and family. So that probably took about a year before we even launched on Kickstarter because
you were coming up with the prototype, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sampling took a long time because the factory was overseas, and that process just took a long time. And we were also both not in the eyewear industry, so we had like a lot of learning to do with that.
But so then you come up with that, and then that's when you decide, okay, we're ready for the Kickstarter?
Yeah, I think we got our last samples, and then because Kickstarter in itself is a whole process, we had to make the video, make all the product pages, have to figure out all the details and put everything together, which was honestly, I think it was really helpful because it gave us a checklist for ourselves of what we need to do. Because of that, we trademark our name, like we started social media, and it really forced us to kind of like get all the
ducks in a row. Yeah.
I think it forced us to be creative with our resources.
Yeah, we had zero budget. We just were being so scrappy. We were filming it ourselves. All of the people in the video were our friends that were like begging to help us with the video. And yeah, we kind of just really were super scrappy with it and try to figure it out and make it look as nice as we could have.
But that's totally what starting a business is, right?
Yeah.
Being scrappy and like using whatever resources you have. But so then you put the Kickstarter up, and you initially were trying to get $18,000, right?
Yes.
And then you blow that shit out of the water, and you get almost 300%, $53,000 plus dollars, right?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It was really unbelievable. We were just watching the numbers go up, and like, is this a joke?
I mean, I've never seen that much money like in my bank account or anything. So when I saw that, I was like, is this, like, it didn't feel real because like it's also like on the screen.
Right.
Yeah. It didn't feel real until like it hit our bank account.
But how did you not get overwhelmed with everything that needed to be done?
Oh, I think we were super overwhelmed, but it was really, really awesome and helpful to have another person. Because we share that. And then if I feel overwhelmed about something, like she'll calm me down, or vice versa. And it was really good to have like somebody who was in it with you and felt exactly the same way that you felt. So that was like a big help.
Who you really know and you really trust.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this a little bit when we met last week. You know, a lot of people will say don't work with really close friends, and we all disagree with that. Can you talk a little bit about that? How that's been to work with such a close friend?
Yeah, I mean, like when we first started working together, obviously it kind of changed our dynamic a little bit because we've never worked together. Like we were never even like in the same like school project group, you know? So that was interesting because you have to kind of learn like what each other's skills are in a professional setting. But at the end of the day, like you have that bond of like trust and like we're both in it together. We had the same goal and the same overall mission. So I think it's like trusting that that person's intentions are aligned with yours for the business.
In my research, I don't know if you guys actually wrote this, but it was an article that says that you two authored. And one of the things it said was, let people underestimate you. And you spoke about being young female entrepreneurs, how sometimes that will happen, where people will really underestimate you. So my first question really is, how often does that happen? And then how do you deal with it?
I think when we first started, we were really naive and very nice about everything. Very like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. When you're dealing with factories especially, they, you know, you're just a drop in the bucket for them, and they have so many people that they deal with, and especially if you're a new brand, they don't know like what your capabilities are. So I think very quickly, we realized that we have to be very firm with what we want and how we want our products made and handled, and make that really clear because people take advantage of you.
Was that hard?
Yeah, I think the first time, because I had to like have a phone conversation with one of the factories, I remember, and I was like, oh, like shaking because I was so angry, but also like, I don't know, it's just like I've never had to deal with that before. Because when you work for another company, you don't deal with those kind of situations. And it's also like my baby, like it's our product that we care so much about. And for, you know, like we just want the other person that we partner with to obviously feel like love it as much as we do. So
I'm just impressed by the patience and the sort of, you know, persistence and the stick-with-itness that you guys had to come up with the elevated fit. So talk about what the elevated fit is.
So elevated fit is our signature fit that is in all of our frames, sunglasses and glasses, and it's basically like an alternative fit to standard fitting glasses that are available in the US. So we made 3 major design changes. So one of them is we made the nose pads longer so that they're sitting like higher on your face and away from your cheeks. And then we narrowed the nose bridge so it's not sliding down as often. You're not always having to push them up. And then we also straightened out like the curve of the frame. So a lot of times frames will kind of sit like this. So they'll be like digging into your cheeks more. Yeah, but we tried to make them more parallel to your face so it's more comfortable.
Okay, look, the moment I tried these sunglasses on, I was like blown away. So the elevated fit is real and it's amazing. Okay, so let's look at some of these amazing sunglasses that you have. And like I said, you guys, I tried some of these on last week, and I'm not kidding you. The moment I put it on my face, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. They're light. They actually do like, you know, all the things that are promised. They stay up on your face. You don't have to push them up. They're amazing. So do you want to show us some of these and just tell us about them?
Yeah, so I guess we can start with this one. We also really appreciate our customer feedback, and our customers have been asking for like a classic oversized square frame, acetate frame that we haven't had. We decided to just make them something that they can wear like every day. It's really light, it's thin, and then we have beveling on the edges to give it a little bit more dimension. But yeah, they just fit really well.
This one's like one of my favorites.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What's the name of this style?
This is called the Hees. So this is gonna come out, yeah.
All right, amazing. I'm sure I'm gonna have to order those.
So this one is the Karina. So we restocked this recently because we had a
sold
lot
out,
of,
right?
yeah. So this color pattern we call the Sangria, but it does really well. It's really unique. It's laminated with different layers. It gives it like a fun look, but still super wearable. It's still a very neutral color combination. So we have classic shaped glasses, square. We have this cat eye one with like this really fun tortoise detail on the side. We offer a prescription, and we have, this is a blue light lens. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little bit yellow tinted, which is really good for looking at if you're on your phone all day or on the computer.
Even though you made these for diverse faces, a lot of times just anybody will come and buy them just because they're so stylish and beautiful. And so you have all types of people buying them, right? And I love that you went away from the Asian fit label.
Yeah.
We were really intentional when we were naming the name Elevated Fit because we didn't want people to feel left out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is an alternative fit.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be something that everybody can use, and when you try them on, you'll just feel the difference of the comfortability.
I mean, we personally test all of the frames that we make, all the samples, we wear them around, and if anything needs to be adjusted, we make those adjustments before it gets put into productions.
So great. Let's talk about more entrepreneurship lessons. So aside from what you were talking about before, what's been the hardest part about being young entrepreneurs?
Hardest part for me is like there's no guarantee that this is gonna work or what the future holds in the next year.
Also, when you have your own business, everything that happens for the company is because of you. So if today, like, I don't feel like doing something, nothing's gonna get done. So, and then it's also really weird to, like, first thing I think of when I wake up is Covry. The first thing I think about, like, before I go to bed is Covry. It's like you're always thinking about this, which you never happens when you're working for somebody else. You, like, go home and you clock out. But you're always thinking about them, always looking at things and then, you know, saving things, inspirations, and
it never really feels like work though.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I feel like because it's ours, it doesn't feel like work. I'm never unhappy doing it or stressed doing it. It's just like
it's just something that has to get done.
Yeah. My next question was going to be, well, what's the best thing about being an entrepreneur? And I think maybe what you were talking about before might be part of that, is that it's yours and it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the best part. I mean, we get to set our schedules and we get to meet really awesome people like you, you know. So much comes with being an entrepreneur that is, you could never experience anywhere else.
Right.
It's also so rewarding to like, literally, like she'll draw something, you know, we'll come up with ideas and then it comes to fruition, which is so cool to see.
Yeah, and then you see people on the street wearing it and it's just like, so it's such a pinch me moment, you know?
First time I saw somebody wearing one of our frames, it was a Maya Black, which is like one of our best sellers. And I saw this like Asian girl walking down the street towards me. And I was like, wait, that looks, and I always look at people's frames, so they probably think, I don't know. But I was like looking at her and I was like, that looks so familiar. I was like,
stop her?
I wanted to, but I didn't want to freak her out. And I was like, I wanted to take a picture to send to you. And then I think I just texted you afterwards.
Me. She's like, I just saw somebody wear her.
I mean, that had to be so gratifying.
Yeah, it was pretty
and
cool.
It's really nice when we have pop-ups. A lot of our customers are return customers and they buy multiple pairs from us. And they'll always come to the pop-ups wearing our sunglasses and it's like so nice. And they're all so amazing and so friendly and have a relationship with them.
Yeah. We've talked about, you know, sort of like business lessons that you've learned. What have you learned about yourself personally through this experience?
I've never been asked that question before.
These are my favorite questions.
I mean, maybe you might feel like this too, but I realized that I actually know how to do a lot more things than I thought I knew. Before we started this, if somebody said you need to like figure out how to start a company, I would be like, are you crazy? I don't know. I think a big thing for me is things are not that difficult. If you just figure it out, you know, ask people, research, Google things, and try to figure it out. Things are not always like that hard to do.
Yeah.
Both of us, we're kind of like introvert.
Yeah, we're I'm definitely introverted.
I mean, you guys are great on camera right now.
But like what you were saying, what makes us like try harder and do the research and do all these things is because we believe in our product. And it's like, that's us. Instead of like us putting ourselves out there, it's like, this is our project and I care so much about the project that's what keeps me going. Instead of like the fear of putting myself out there, it's like hiding behind the glasses, behind the shade. Yeah,
That's interesting. Okay, what's a personal lesson that you've learned, Florence?
I guess mine is like, I have always been very introverted. So I think through this whole thing, I really had to push myself to like ask people questions or like, you know, maybe ask an old boss for their advice or things like that, which I normally would never do. But like Athina was saying, like, because I really believe in our product and our brand, I wasn't afraid to ask them because I knew we had a good product.
Yeah, I think a lot of times you're afraid to do things for yourself, but not afraid to do things for something that you believe in. Yeah.
Okay, so name one man and one woman that you dream of seeing in Covry.
Lucy Liu, just because I grew up watching her like in Charlie's Angels, I remember.
I don't know, there's so many cool Asian women that are just so hot right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking to Ellie about this. When we first started, there weren't that many Asian
Yeah.
celebrity women
Yeah.
that we could
No,
even.
it's been like an explosion.
Yeah,
in the
like
last
that wouldn't
year and a
even
half.
be a goal for us to have the frames on. But now there's so many, and they're all so amazing. And
Who like was the most exciting person that you've seen in Covry?
well, when we first started, our goal was Jamie Chung, and then
And
she
that
wore
happened?
them on vacation.
So she got them on her own?
No, we sent it to her stylist. Yeah.
But that's amazing because even when stylists, like, you know, they give choices, the celebrity gets like 10, 15 choices. And so for her to still pick that out,
Yeah.
for Jamie to still pick that out.
Yeah,
is
and she
pretty
wrote us a
awesome.
letter too about
that's
how
great.
right, and then I
Yeah.
think we were like, oh, we're gonna frame this.
That's great. Everybody follow them and go to their website. And I'm telling you, buy their glasses. They are amazing.
We have home try-on box, so if you want to just try it out, you can.
They can like try
yeah.
them on and then
Yep.
send back whatever,
Yeah.
whatever they
Yeah.
want. Okay. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. Cheers.
Cheers.
And
Thank you.
I am a lifelong customer.